Hey guys, welcome back. Another episode of the Jordan Patrick Show. I'm your host, Jordan, here with Richie and Elliot. Guys, how we doing today? Welcome back.
Fantastic. It's been a minute.
It's been a while, yeah. Busy lives, man. Got a lot going on. A lot of birthdays happening. Happy belated birthday to you, El.
Likewise.
Halloween birthday, huh? That's cool. That's different. Yeah. Rich, how you been, man?
I'm good, man. I'm actually kind of jealous of both of your birthdays. You know, you guys have fun stuff. You know, Halloween. My birthday gets overshadowed by the fucking groundhog.
Yeah?
Yeah.
First, right?
Yeah, and then the groundhog, you know, you find out what he's been up to the day after. So everybody forget, you know.
Nobody gets, yeah.
Shortest month of the year. You know, it's all fucked up. It could be worse. I mean, at least I'm not February 29th. I would probably be like my maturity age, which would be about 9. So, you know, it's...
You share a birthday with brother, actually. So that's, I don't know. I just figured I'd tell you that. I don't know. Not important at all. But speaking of immaturity, in my opinion, I think this is kind of lame. Did you guys see what's going on with PETA and baseball, Major League Baseball at the moment? This is kind of wild, man. They kind of interjected their thoughts into this right here and said, look, we don't like the name Bullpen. And I'll get the exact quote, actually. It says... from Tracy Riemann. She says, words matter. And baseball bullpens devalue talented players and mock the misery of sensitive animals. So I know I sound like a prick by reading her quote that way. It makes me mad. She's the executive vice president of PETA. So she's basically saying this term bullpen devalues players in general and sensitive animals. They want to change this. They're pitching, no pun intended, to change the word to arm barn. And I want Richie's opinion on this before I laugh too hard. Is this the right direction? Is this some petty bullshit? No pun intended again. Or what's your outlook on this, Rich?
Not everything needs to be changed. These guys are playing baseball. They have this, what they do for a living, what they do in the bullpen has absolutely nothing to fucking do with a cow, a pig. And listen, to the vegans out there and everybody that wants to go that route, all the more power, excellent. But I'm sorry, and I don't care who gets offended. We are the only country that cares to the point about stuff that no other civilization even thinks about.
Not to get too deep into it, but like
the arm barn, doesn't that set up? What about okay, you want now? This is what I'm more offended about if you call it the arm barn. A lot of guns out there. We had a lot of unfortunate school shootings. I'm more offended about that shit. If you want to go arm barn, what are arms? You know what I mean?
Well,
that's affecting humans. That's affecting human beings. If you call it the arm barn, if we can misconstrue bullpen and talk about slaughtering animals, why can't I fucking flip my narrative and say if you call it the arm barn, you're talking about the guns?
And you can, but you need an organization full of sensitive people to help back you.
Call it the gun show next.
Well, they'll be there because they'll be there. They'll be there.
You know what, though? Here's the deal. They said it was...
In Chicago, you want to call it the arm barn? In Chicago.
The sensitivity stems from the fact that a bullpen is where you put the bulls before they get slaughtered. Okay, so you're sending a pitcher out to the bullpen, before he goes out to get slaughtered, essentially. So they're basically saying, in my opinion, this is my interpretation specifically, that they're saying that these pitchers are potentially being categorized, or like you're not worried about their feelings either. These pitchers don't give a single fuck.
Yeah, Aroldis Chapman really gives a fuck. I could tell.
Right.
He's a cry in the corner because he's getting get the fuck.
Likened to a bull, yeah.
Athletes
don't like being compared to bulls.
Anyway, I find it kind of ridiculous. Elle, what's your opinion on this? Give me your outlook.
There's one true statement in there. Words do matter. In this case, it's when you're talking about devaluing things, you're devaluing any argument about words. You're giving ammunition to people that don't want to talk about the difficult things.
Ammunition, that's another word.
You're giving them ammunition.
Ammunition in Chicago, especially in Chicago, this can be.
Or New York, Rich. I get it, but it devalues any conversation about words by bringing up bullshit like this.
Do you guys want to restart the show? Did we really have to talk about this one?
We didn't have to talk about it at all. I just found it amusing for my amusement.
It's stupid. It's really dumb.
It's really dumb. And we will move on very quickly. All I'm going to say is to touch on what else said. Words do matter. It just matters that they are the correct words or the incorrect words that need to be changed. This does not need to be fucking changed or talked about any further. Now we're going to move on and talk about the World Series.
Another 10 years, we're going to have auto spell for our thoughts. So don't worry. We'll all be robotic soon enough. Fucking show.
Here's the thing. Atlanta wouldn't have made it to the World Series if their bullpen didn't come back in full swing and carry them there. Their bats certainly stepped up, but they hit some slumps late in the season. And I just want to say congratulations to the Atlanta Braves and that whole organization for taking down the Houston Astros. Fuck you, AJ Hinch. In the World Series, I know he's the manager of the Tigers. I'm well aware, but I'm never going to let that go. And Altuve, too. That whole core group of guys, I'm glad to see them lose. This show is starting out kind of bitter. I'm not really sure why. But first championship since 1995 for them. Very happy for that organization. Rich, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, to your point, first one since 95 where they beat the former Cleveland Indians, soon to be the Guardians. What I like about Atlanta's victory is that they basically made the Houston Astros of today mimic the Braves of the 90s. What I mean by that is Braves of the 90s were a constant player, whether it be the NLCS or the World Series during the decade of the 90s, but came up very small in the World Series, winning only one in 5 opportunities. And it's pretty wild when you think about it that the Braves could have had so much more hardware. And oddly enough, the Los Angeles Dodgers fall into that same category because they have a ring for the pandemic season, whereas Houston has a ring for the cheating, the scandal year. So 17 and 20 are looked upon in baseball different from other years for sure. But yeah. I
give more credit to the Dodgers, though, than the Astros.
What's funny is going into the season, we predicted that the NL Central was going to be weak the way that the NL East was weak. But looking back at it, with the Braves winning the World Series, the NL East maybe gets looked at a little differently now and says maybe they just beat the crap out of each other and just maybe that division isn't as bad as people thought. I mean, when you look at history, recent history, they've produced 2 of the last 3 world champions because the Nationals won only 2 years ago.
Right.
So I'm happy for them, but I'd have to fact check this, but to my understanding, they are the 3rd or 4th worst regular season team to win it all.
Only behind who? What other 2 teams?
If I had to guess off the top of my head, my guesses would be the 69 Mets. And I know the Cardinals did it under 90 wins. If I had to take a guess, I think it was 06 when they beat Dorney's Mets, Carlos Beltran.
I mean, the National League is so
caught
bad.
looking with the bases loaded.
The National League is so bad. That's the bottom line there.
It is what it is. But you know what? The Astros are originally from the National League, so fuck them.
Yeah, well, they can go back. I don't care. El, did you see this? Trevor Plouffe. Is it Trevor Plouffe or Plouffe? How do you say it? It's Plouffe, right?
It sounds better.
He predicted months and months ago that the Braves would win against the Astros in the World Series in 6 games. So then they ran analysis. He was on a podcast I was watching last night. They ran some analysis that at the time that he predicted this on Twitter, it's running around Reddit right now as well. If he put down $1,000, he would have made how much money, do you think? To specifically choose this exact scenario of the Braves getting there and winning in 6.
$350K.
Way more money.
$700K.
Tens of millions of dollars more money.
Jesus.
Wow. It was that low odds on that at that point?
The odds were ridiculous. So if he put down, what is your guess, Al?
Let's go with $8 million.
If Trevor Plouffe made that prediction when he did on Twitter and placed a bet for $1,000 at the time, he would have won $24 million. So if Trevor Plouffe, who can afford it, would have put down $10K, fuck, I mean, that's insane, dude.
That is pretty insane.
Nobody's going to put $10K down on that. I could see putting $1,000 down on that if I had that kind of money. But that was just, he tweeted it out just maybe as in jest, maybe as shooting from the hip kind of thing like we all do. It's fun. And how about you turn your ringer off, you fucking donut?
I apologize. Just want to let you know, the trade went through.
Okay, good. Explain your trade real quick before we move into we're trying to,
I wanted to acquire Travis Kelce. Actually, our friend Dorney wanted to trade him. Gave up Mike Davis, Conklin of the Vikings, and Williams of the Chiefs. And I said, give me Ingram too, Mark Ingram, who's a backup for Kamara. Our commissioner originally shut it down. I don't know. I guess he's not worried that Mark Ingram is going to steal a lot of goal line carries. I don't know. But it's okay. I now have Travis Kelce. I have a pretty good team.
Speaking of fantasy, guys, a huge milestone in the state of Florida. Sports betting is now legal in the state of Florida. This is huge news for somebody like myself that really enjoys betting, whether it be DFS, daily fantasy sports side of things, or just betting in general. It is very specific to our listeners. It is very specific to one app, though. It is the Seminole Hard Rock app on the App Store. So just look it up. It's a purple logo. If you're wanting to bet on sports, you can sign up using your Venmo, using your PayPal, using a direct checking account or bank card or credit card. Very, very cool. It opens a lot of opportunities. It's a slippery slope. I understand that a lot of people might have issues with it, with gambling and things of that nature. But
they don't gamble.
Exactly. Well, they have programs set up. Jesus. Very matter of fact. Very matter of fact.
You don't like the arm barn or the bullpen, then don't eat meat. You don't like gambling? Don't fucking gamble. If you don't like my trade, then maybe we need a new commissioner.
So sports betting is now legal. You need to go.
Just kidding, John. Just kidding.
Seminole Hard Rock sports book app specifically. That's tough to say. And the reason being is because the Native American tribes in the state of Florida that have the Seminole tribe specifically has access to the way the loophole is this. So basically they are considering the Seminole Casino and Hard Rock in Tampa as sovereign ground, so they can now place their own sports book bets on that property. That's why it's unique to just this specific app.
I think that's the right way to do it.
I think it's great. I think it's perfectly fair. They've been fighting for this twice this year. It's been shot down.
They deserve that.
I agree.
And a lot more. And that's another conversation.
That's a whole other conversation. But I agree. This is well deserved. They deserve it. It should be. This is going to be great for Florida and sports betting in general.
We want to get offended or something to get riled up over. That's a better topic than any of this arm barn bullshit.
Really is. But so now it's going to be fun for Sunday. We're going to be able to bet on some parlays. I run a pick 'em every week, so that's kind of fun. But now I'll be able to actually make
fun for who? I don't have that's like my nonprofit. It's give money to people.
Yeah, I bet you've won once. I mean, I
not this
last week in week 8, and it's my pool. So shit. Anyway, El, let's run into football real quick. A lot of injuries, a lot of COVID things going on, and I want your take on this real quick before we get into these injuries and COVID. Big, huge story out of Las Vegas. Very unfortunate story for the family of this young lady that Henry Ruggs was doing 156 miles an hour in his brand new Corvette and rear-ended her in her 4Runner at a stoplight. What's your outlook on this, El?
I mean, he was also twice the legal limit of intoxication with alcohol. You know, it's just all bad. It's all bad. This guy's destroyed lives and destroyed his own life in the process. It fucking sucks. It's even worse that it has to be done on this big national stage.
Yeah.
But this kid made a tragic error, and he's gonna pay a price for it. I mean, we can debate the ethics of all of it, but he fucked up. He fucked up, and you know there's consequences for this shit, man.
Major consequences, man. And now you are with great. What's the quote? With great
power
comes great responsibility.
Yeah, Spider-Man, but it's a fair point, you know.
Oh, that wasn't Donald Trump.
I mean, you know, he might take credit for it.
Yeah, it's my quote. But you know what? Honestly, he's in the limelight. He's a star. It was his rookie season. Was he drafted last year, and this is his second season in the NFL? Is that right?
Yeah,
I believe so.
Yeah, and he came out of Alabama, and huge future ahead of him. But you know what? What it breaks down to now, looking at this situation, you were twice the legal limit. You're doing 156 miles an hour. Yeah, you're 22 years old. We all did dumb things, but I never did that as a 22-year-old. And being a father of a daughter, it's a good thing I'm not a judge, because if it were me on the outside looking in, I know it's easy to play armchair quarterback, but man, I really hope they throw the book at him. His minimum sentence for the DUI resulting in a death is minimum 2 years, no possible probation. So he's at least going to do 2 years, and maximum of 20 years. But that's it. And he's facing another charge as well, which the minimum charge is probation, or minimum sentence is probation, maximum is 5 years. So he could potentially maximum face 25 years maximum, minimum 2 years and probation. I hope they throw the book at him. I have a lot of this guy, because that's unacceptable. That family, yeah, his future is gone. He's messed up his career, his life, and all that, and lost his money. You took somebody's life. You took somebody's a young lady's life.
I have an issue with the way that a lot of driving impaired, driving intoxicated works in this country, because, you know, with crime reform, that's been a big topic for the better part of 5 years, and it's becoming more prevalent now that things are trying to get changed with the criminal justice system. What bothers me is that you have guys that maybe were moving marijuana, nonviolent offenders that are doing or have done hard fucking time, but yet this isn't the first time an athlete killed somebody. It's similar to this. Jim Leyritz is free. Someone died. It's sad because families are ruined. The Ruggs family, the victim's family. You know, I noticed on social media a lot of people are like, "Oh, he's a grown-ass man," and while I want to say that, ain't nobody really grown at 22. Having said that, his actions are reprehensible, because you have every avenue to get out of driving drunk. Uber, Lyft, call the fucking GM of your team. He'll pick you up. Call your quarterback.
Well,
he was off, man, because he was doing what, 160 or some shit. This wasn't about getting home, you know. Yeah. He was thrill seeking, and it cost somebody's life. Like,
yeah, the argument. We'll look this up, and we'll move on from it. But the argument that, oh, he's a grown man. Oh, but he's just a kid because nobody's really grown up at 22. She was 23.
By all means, he needs to pay for this.
Yeah.
I by no means am I saying that.
No, I know.
I'm just reiterating that at that age, he ain't full grown. And his actions show it. I'm not making any excuse for what happened. And, you know, but the reality is, I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if he does a minimum thing, because of the fact that he has no priors. And I mean, it sounds crazy, but it seems like,
yeah, it's definitely
when it comes to the narrative of what people deem bad, I made the point already. You could be moving like marijuana and shit before it became legalized, and you're still doing hard time. But a DUI that leads to injury or death doesn't seem to be nearly as bad. It's a fucked up system.
I really hope that they make an example out of this specific case. I really do. And it's unfortunate. I think he should absolutely pay. I wouldn't say maybe, I don't know. It's just really unfortunate. And my condolences to her family and the Ruggs family as well.
It's just so avoidable, and that's the part that gets you mad. It's so unnecessary and so avoidable.
Well, what's not avoidable in the NFL season are injuries, and that's what we're going to talk about now. Is that all these injuries keep popping up? Derrick Henry, King Henry, is one of the biggest, most notable ones, in my opinion, coming out of last week. We talked about it briefly, El. You cannot just inject somebody into that that team in that scenario. Even if you use the example of Zeke, you can't put Zeke in his place and expect the same production. It's not going to happen. So even
different players,
different running backs for sure.
You signed Adrian Peterson, and then you got Jeremy McNichols. You think these guys, even in tandem form, are going to put up any kind of numbers or make teams?
You can't moneyball your way out of a great talent like that.
The hope is that they're effective.
Right, and Tennessee knows that. I mean, I don't think they're fooling anybody, themselves included, that they're going to replace Derrick Henry or his production or what he means to that team. But on the other hand, they can't just write off the season and say, well, our best player's done. We might as well pack it in, get a draft pick. Like, they're still going to make a run. So
do you think AP is the answer?
Of what's available? I mean, I don't know.
I'm saying, for Band-Aids.
As far as a Band-Aid is concerned, I don't know. I heard Richie bring up Todd Gurley. Might have been an interesting fit. I like, not to shark your argument here, Rich, but I think the AP's proven that he's pretty durable, and they can't sink more resources into this position given what's going on. So AP's a decent bet. He's a consummate pro, a veteran. He'll pick up the playbook super quick. He'll be ready to go in the next 2 weeks and be able to produce, I think, for them.
He might even play Sunday, and
I'm sure he'll be on the field. But, I think it's unfair to expect him to have an impact this week.
No.
No.
I like it because, you got to think about it. Sunday night going into Monday morning, you find out that you lost the league's best running back. Not even a full 24 hours later, you sign a future Hall of Famer. You can do a lot worse than the Titans did on this deal. And the nice thing with AP that I find intriguing is that he's an older player who had one legitimate injury some years back, and he responded great and had an MVP caliber season when he came back.
He reset the timetable on recoveries from those injuries. It's worth noting his recovery was monumental at that point in time.
I like AP to do well. I don't think anybody could replace Derrick Henry, but I do think that he's going to fit in just fine. First and second downs, goal line situations. And I also think that he brings a maturity and a hunger into that locker room. He's also going to be fresh. It might be good for the older player to come in week 9, middle of the year, in the first 17-game season. I think he's going to help them.
I think he'll help them. I just think that, I'll say it here first on the air, is that I think the Jeremy McNichols play is going to be a better play than Adrian Peterson. I really do.
PPR leagues, he catches the football.
Yeah, I'm not even talking about giving more goal line opportunities to Adrian Peterson. I'm just talking about production over the next 2, possibly 3 weeks. Mm-hmm. I don't think Derrick Henry's coming back this season. I think that's pretty clear. They're saying there might be a chance, but I highly doubt it.
It would be irresponsible to bring him back.
I doubt it's going to happen. So what I'm thinking here is that McNichols over the next 2 or 3 weeks is really going to prove himself. I could be dead wrong. This is all speculation. That's what's fun about it. But I think McNichols outperforms AP by quite a bit. I'd say more than double the next 3 weeks.
I agree from a preparation standpoint, right? Like, it's going to take a little bit of time for AP to integrate himself into the team.
Sure.
So given that he's already part of their system, he's going to get higher usage, and it's probably going to balance out and become more of a tandem thing. But yeah, for the next few weeks, that's a great shout.
I like that. I think that's sensible. The point you made.
I could be dead wrong, but that's the direction I think it's going to go because he's familiar with the playbook, like El said, as well as just the fact that he is a receiving back. So yeah, if you're talking about PPR leagues or just in general, I think his production overall, he's going to get he's going to get more targets, obviously. And he's going to get, he may run the third down scenarios, and AP may get the first and second down. We'll see how it shakes down. But there may be scenarios where they are losing. I don't exactly know who they're playing this week. I think it's their bye week, is it not?
No, they're playing the Rams.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Okay, that's right.
Which sucks, because it would have been cool to see Henry against that defensive front, especially with Von Miller joining them.
It would have, and so here's what it is. I think is they're going to be down in that game quite a bit. So McNichols is going to get a lot more love than AP.
It's sad because we're going to touch on this next, I'm assuming, but we're missing out on some marquee matchups.
We are.
Aaron Rodgers has COVID. He's not going to be able to play against Patrick Mahomes, and I just mentioned
seems like
Derrick Henry, season-ending injury, isn't going to be able to go against Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and the very dynamic Rams defense. It's unfortunate because as fans, these are the matchups you want to see.
I want to see that, especially with Von Miller just signing in LA. I think that's going to be very cool for them.
Nice pickup.
Very, very good.
How the fuck do they afford it? You got 3 of the best defensive players in the league.
Maybe they asked Jalen Ramsey to back up that armored truck and share some of the money. I don't know. I don't know how they can.
How much of their future did they mortgage to make this pickup is the other thing. I've seen a little bit of, obviously you make this trade. You don't pass up on Von Miller, but they're clearly in win now mode. They've got a 3-year window.
I think the NFL isn't giving them full tax on the salary cap. It's implemented into the Spygate reaming. So I think that they were the victims of Spygate, that they're not taxing them completely on the cap.
Makes sense. It could roll over a year or two or something like that. I'm not really sure how it's going to unfold.
I just totally made that up, but it sounds like it makes sense.
It could. It's all spitballing.
I like how both of you said it's believable enough.
It is.
I mean, it's the NFL. They make up their own fucking rules.
They really do.
They could. The real reason, though, this is fact, and this is funny. Noah Fant went on a podcast last week, and he said the reason Von Miller, and this is hilarious, I looked it up, it's true. And the validity of exactly why he left, I don't know, but this is probably a huge reason and a huge factor. Von Miller said he throws an annual Halloween party every year, hence the word annual. So he runs a party every Halloween and gets all of his guys to chip in. And he was asking these rookies, did you hear this, El and Rich?
No.
And he was asking the rookies to chip in thousands of dollars for this party. And apparently it's a really extravagant event and, lots of fun, lots of money spent. Turns out nobody chipped in except Noah Fant, the tight end. And Von Miller was pissed, and he came back a week later and said, look, guys, or 2 days before, I was like, hey, if y'all don't start chipping in and shaking down for this, I'm going to cause disruption in this locker room, and I'll see to it that I break up this locker room chemistry. And then everybody's like, yeah, we're not paying for your party that you planned. It's your party, dude. And so he's like, all right, fuck it. Fine. 2 days later, he was traded. Noah Fant went on a podcast and said, it's unfortunate that this got out into the media, but that's true. I was the only player that paid because I'm a man of my word. I, respect Von Miller. I didn't go to the party, but you had players that went to the party and didn't chip in. And so then everybody was getting their stance on, well, if you're throwing the party, why should I be chipping in? Or
who should just pay for all of it? Brock Osweiler. Just because.
Just because.
That's some petty ass bullshit, though.
Brock Osweiler should just pay for all of it, and everything would be square.
Yeah, I don't even know if he's got that kind of money. But what's funny though is there's other reasons and other factors as to why he left. We're all aware of that. But
he wants to win a championship,
right? But this is what makes it out into the media. Come on, that's kind of, I don't know. And that's Noah Fant saying that he said that verbatim, that he's going to shake up this locker room and I'm going to disrupt the chemistry. That's one way to do it, is demanding a trade, But I think also LA, the Rams is just such a great team to end up on, And I'm sure all those motherfuckers will pay for a Halloween party.
And, you talk about disrupting chemistry. Green Bay Packers, on a lot of people's power rankings, were number one, mine included. Aaron Rodgers, this is an interesting one because come to find out he's not vaccinated. Going into the season, he said, I'm immunized. A lot of people took that as that he was vaccinated, but he's in the clear. He was taking homeopathic treatments, kind of up some antibodies, do it his way. It didn't fall in the criteria of the NFL when it comes to days. But oddly enough, he did have some advantages with this that the normal player that's not vax wouldn't get, like in terms of different measures with social distancing. It's very interesting, but he's not at fault in terms of any suspension. Because I know a lot of people were pitching it like, oh, he's a liar and he put people. It's not exactly that.
He's a wordsmith.
Was very much aware.
He's a wordsmith, and now he's going to have to pay for it in the form of wearing a mask, dealing with his 10-day sit out, and social distancing. He's going to have to live up to different standards. But I wouldn't say he's a liar. He's just very conniving.
Yeah, as long as he gets to still wear the sunglasses, all should be well.
Rich, you're talking about Aaron Rodgers and Von Miller. They're stars. Like, we can't be naive and pretend they don't get special treatment.
Rodgers was at the Halloween party. That's how he contracted this shit.
Because he chipped in, bro.
Yeah.
I heard he won
his saying, like,
I heard he won his
people are pretending people are pretending to be outraged by this shit. Oh, he was doing the in-person media appearances instead of the Zoom ones like the other unvaccinated. Yeah, it's a double standard. It's messed up.
It is. It is.
They also get paid millions more than their teammates too. Right. He's a quarterback or he's a star name. Like it's entertainment, guys. The celebrities always make more and they always get special treatment. Fair or not. If you watch this shit, that's what you see.
Right.
But it sucks. We miss out on the State Farm Bowl again. I think it changes the whole trajectory of what happens with Rodgers.
We could set up a rematch.
Yeah, rematch.
Come on.
Either.
I like Green Bay without Rodgers. Without Rodgers, they're not winning that game.
What's that?
Without Rodgers, they're not winning that game. With Rodgers, even without Devontae, I think they would have won. And Kansas City, even though they didn't get an impressive win on Monday, I still think that the things are setting up just right for them to get back into the race. And I would not be the least bit surprised if they still win that division. The Chargers are sputtering, and the Raiders haven't done enough for me to be completely convinced that they're the best team in that division. I still think, even though Kansas City
the Raiders are going to implode, dude. They lost their coach. They got another fucking scandal that just hit them. They're going to implode, man.
Maybe not. Hear me out.
Think so?
They're in Jersey this week.
Hear me out. Yeah, Waller is 100% healthy, I think, from what I heard. Yeah, Ruggs is definitely a huge loss to that organization, talent-wise.
What, he's not playing this week?
Gruden, boy. Gruden is out, but the new interim head coach, I can't think of his name right now, gave a badass speech the other day. They've won 2 in a row with this guy. I mean, I think it's headed in the right direction. They're not losing this week. I mean, they're not losing this week.
Saquon might play, by the way, buddy.
No, he's out. He's confirmed out.
Confirmed out?
Yeah, I'll show you right now. I'll pull it up.
I believe you. It's just I know he passed his second COVID test. So
I might have failed his third. Booker is the actor.
How do you pass the middle one? That's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll talk about it later. Let me pull it up.
It doesn't matter.
It really doesn't matter. I think the Giants are going to lose. But
I think they're going to win. And not because they're any good. It's just because the Chiefs have to get back into it. They stopped Monday Night Football to have Mahomes talk about a public address announcement to comfort all NFL fans that things are going to be okay. They're like, we don't care if we're going to miss 2 plays of the actual game being played. Just let Mahomes talk. I was like, what the fuck is this?
He should have gone out there and been like, relax. R-U-L-A-X.
Yeah. And cough after that with no mask on.
It's the mustache, dude. It's living in the mustache. I'm telling you.
It's got to be. It might even be the sunglasses.
No, they protect you.
Because when he came in looking like Jesus of Nazareth, I actually think that with all that hair, I mean, anything's possible.
Speaking of anything being possible, the Knicks actually look like a worthy NBA team, guys. Have you seen what they're doing lately? This is kind of impressive. The team they're turning out. Lately, they've lost, 2 in a row now, Rich? But before that,
first losing streak of the year. But they got some quality wins this year.
Randall is looking like a beast. Everybody knew it too. I mean, daily side of things, he's priced out to where he needs to be, and year-long leagues, he's taking. He's being taken where he needed to be taken. He's a boss. That team looks good, man.
I could give the good and the bad in less than a minute.
Go.
The good is that your point, Randall is fitting in beautifully in his role as a team leader. By letting go of Alfred Payton and bringing in Kemba Walker, now you're not going to give D Rose too many minutes. And in the fourth, you can run with 2 point guards, 2 very good ball handlers.
Right.
And Fournier has been a godsend, the shooter that they needed. Yeah.
Have fun.
But,
have fun with that. Yeah. Seen this movie before.
But
Rich, I don't want to have to mute you. I don't want to mute you. I'm going to mute you real quick because I want El to talk real quick because we both feel a certain type of way about Fournier. Go ahead, El.
Oh, yeah. Fournier, he'll give you some good games. He's very streaky. I mean, we watched – how many years was he in Orlando, Jordan?
I think 4 years. Was it that long?
4 years, yeah.
Was it that long?
Felt like longer, man. He'll flash and put up some decent games, but if you're relying on him for outside shooting, what is the main knock against the Magic the last decade? No fucking shooters. No shooters at all. That includes Fournier.
He doesn't.
Mike's hot again.
He doesn't need to be our perimeter shooter. He doesn't need to be worried about any kind of. Yeah, I'm glad he's gone, man. You know what? And
they would be better. They would have better shooters if they had the armbar. No, being serious. Being serious. The bad. The Knicks are still learning how to win. That game in Chicago, the game against the Celtics to open, the Knicks are still struggling closing games. And while they can beat a Bulls team that has looked awfully impressive, while they can have great road trips and pretty much play with anybody in the league, they still seem to struggle against teams that they should beat. So I think the Knicks are somewhere in between. They're good, but they haven't elevated quite yet to that elite level of championship. They can be in the conversation as the year moves along.
You're 5-3. 2 of your losses just came recently. A team right behind you guys, ranked eighth right now, that impressed me last night was the Cleveland Cavaliers beating Portland. This team is sneaky good, and they're 5-4, so it's an average record.
They play hard.
They play really hard. They play with heart. They got this kid Mobley. I mean, and Jared Allen is playing like a boss down there too. This team looks good overall. And Garland, they have a bunch of no-name guys that are shooters, man, and they're getting it done when it matters. They're scrappy. They'll keep the games within 5 to 6 points on either side of the ball, and they end up usually on the right side of it. They're 5-4, so they have a winning record. But watch out for the Cavs this year. I wouldn't say they're going to do anything long-term, but they're going to be a thorn in some people's sides. Just remember that I said that.
I would have to say one of the biggest disappointments in the early going has to be the Boston Celtics. I think a lot of people had higher aspirations for them. The LA Lakers are still figuring it out. I had this conversation with our buddy Zay the other day, big Laker fan, and I told him, I said, LeBron needs to assume the role of complete facilitator, similar to the way that Magic Johnson's role was in the 80s, because you have the scorers. You have Westbrook. You have AD. You have Carmelo Anthony, who is the 9th leading scorer in NBA history coming off your bench. And he's a refreshed version of himself because this is a championship caliber team. He can pitch in. Should AD go down, you still have a decent defensive presence with Dwight Howard. This team is fucking stacked.
Think of that sentence you just said, though. That's pretty funny. But about Dwight Howard.
He's still a presence.
He is. He definitely is.
I actually prefer him better as a role player than anything that he thought he was in his Orlando days. Because I never thought he was cut of the right cloth to truly be a superstar. No. But I think as a role player, he's actually quite good.
His ego gets in his way. Yeah, as a role player, for sure. But if he can let his ego kind of subside and take that role and do it properly, then
Westbrook needs to be the number one option. Yeah. And it needs to be understood because he didn't come there to be a third option. LeBron needs to, as the leader, be the facilitator. And not give up on plays when they're losing by 30 plus.
I'll still say it right now. Well, yeah, he won't. He's been seen cherry picking, not going back and playing offense or defense for that matter on certain plays, waiting in the back half of the court until the ball comes back to him to play defense, or vice versa.
I would expect Westbrook to do that, not LeBron. I would expect Carmelo to do that.
No, I'd expect LeBron. To do it.
Disappointed.
He did it against Phoenix early in the season, like the third game of the season.
And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why he ain't my GOAT.
Exactly. Real quick, though, Westy, I'll say it. I said it before the season started. I don't like this fit for him. I don't know where he belongs, but he does not belong on a team with AD and LeBron. That's too much going on.
Yeah, it's weird. It's very weird.
It's proving itself right now that it just doesn't work.
Believe it or not, Lillard would have been a better fit over there.
Yeah, because he knows Lillard knows his role. He knows what's up. Like, he can actually take a back seat and just take shots.
But LeBron has to be willing to take that back seat in terms of scoring if this team's going to get to their destination,
and you
winning a championship.
Do you think he's going to do that?
Even if he does, it's not his game to be like a knockdown spot-up shooter the whole time. It was just what they have no floor spacing. They have no floor spacing. You got high-usage guys. Every one of their stars is a star and needs the ball in their hands. Right. As good of a passer as LeBron is, he's not going to work as a spot-up shooter in an offense like this. Like, it's just you said it when the trade happened, and it clicked. I'm like, yeah, this is a horrible fit.
Horrible idea.
It's a horrible fit.
And all three of them are not driving the paint, so shut the fuck up about
this. This reminds me eerily of when they got Peyton Malone to pair with Kobe and Shaq, and they thought it was going to be good, but similar problems with floor spacing.
It just doesn't work on paper, and then it's unfolding in front of our eyes that it's clearly not working.
You need more role players than superstars to win championships. And even though the super team thing has been a big thing, look at Brooklyn. I get it, Kyrie and this stuff. But even whatever you want to say, with Harden and Durant, still a hell of a 1-2. Last year, a lot of people say, oh, they lost because Durant was exhausted. Oh, maybe. They lost because they don't have any depth on that team, true depth, like 1 through 12, the way a lot of other teams do.
There's a lot of reasons why they lost, but that's definitely one of them. Guys that had depth earlier in the season just didn't show up when it mattered, quite frankly.
It's great to have a big three.
You go, Harris.
But ask the Miami Heat. If you don't fill out that roster, you're not winning shit.
Well, Miami Heat look great right now, obviously, working out with Jimmy Buckets. But real quick, speaking on Vooch and another team that's surprising the hell out of me, have you seen what Vooch is doing in Chicago? This team is impressive.
Doing the same as always, putting up near triple doubles every game. Like, he's that consistent player. And he's finally found a home where he doesn't have to be the man.
Right.
It's a good fit for him. Good for him. I'm happy.
I think so too. We got Wendell Carter Jr. from them in that trade. I think it was a 3-team trade, if I'm not mistaken. I don't know what the other team was that was involved, but I just realized that maybe it was like Toronto or something like that.
I think it was OKC, but I have to double check that.
I don't remember what it was. All I know is we lost Vooch and we got Wendell Carter, who I actually like Wendell Carter quite a bit. But just seeing what Vooch is doing in Chicago was the proof in the pudding. I was the biggest Vooch fan when he was here. And it's like, damn, losing him, we did a complete rebuild. But that Chicago team is running through him, and he doesn't, like El said, he doesn't even have to be that guy, and they're still running through him.
They're very impressive, man.
They're patient.
I watched that game last week.
That
is a good 12-point lead. We didn't score in the final 2 minutes and barely snuck out of there with a 1-point win. That team doesn't quit.
They don't quit, man.
Coach.
It's funny how they look to Vooch like a point guard, like, you're going to pace the game. Like, no, that's not my role, but he does. He fucking guides them along, and he's new to that. I mean,
we ran the offense through him. It's just we needed him to put the ball in the hoop more times than should be doing. So you can run the offense through him, and he's going to help distribute it to the right person and spread the points around. Like,
that's exactly what's happening.
He's built for that role.
I think what's exciting for the league right now is that you have a lot of sentimental people that are, consider the 80s and 90s the golden era. What I'm enjoying in the NBA's Eastern Conference, you got the Bulls and the Knicks super relevant, playing a game that matters because they're going to play more games that matter. This was a rivalry that drove the league in the 90s. And Utah and the Lakers are among the two of the best in the West, and other teams in West during the 90s that were big-time players. And I think it's kind of cool to see these franchises good at the same time again because the league needs that. The league needs these teams to be good.
It needs a better diversification of winners.
Yes.
What it needs. And
Golden State and whoever LeBron played for was killing that too much.
And we're finally seeing it just being distributed a little bit better and spread out. I mean, I like it. Utah, like I said, they're still a great team, but they're still boring. I feel like it's the same fucking
They're
thing.
built for the regular season. I just don't trust them for the long haul in the playoffs. I mean, maybe they'll prove me wrong, but I don't see it.
Yeah.
But then again, Milwaukee was getting that rap until they finally sealed the deal. So who knows?
Well, speaking of that, we're going to just wrap it up. And just want to let you guys know that, thanks for watching. And if you guys do want some merchandise, we don't have these shirts anymore. This was a limited run. However, we are running a new run of shirts. They're going to be black polyester shirts with this same logo with a sheen effect to it. They're priced out at $25 a piece. Just contact either Elliot, myself, or Richie, and we'll be sure to get you a car magnet and a new shirt. This is the second run of shirts. You can look for the third run of shirts here in the near future. But running a black shirt, polyester, it'll be a little bit different than the cotton. It looks nice, man. So we appreciate all your support, guys, and thank you for watching. El, any last words, buddy? Anything you want to plug?
No, that's it, man. It's good to see you guys again and do this show. It's been too long.
Yeah, October was a busy month. Rich, any last words?
One last question about the T-shirts. Do they run kind of big or small? I just want to know that way for those who weren't too sure about the size.
Fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. Good question. I'm 6 feet tall, 205 pounds, and this is a large. So it fits me, fine around the arms, runs long on the waist. So, I mean, if you're in it, and this has been washed, it's a cotton shirt. Polyester is not going to shrink as much. I'm going to rock a large in that one as well. If you're a bigger fella, go with an XL, maybe a double XL. Rich, what size are you wearing in your gray one right now?
I think it's a 2X because you said you're 6 and 205.
Yeah.
I'm 5'11 and 2 with a few more fives. So,
yeah, they run a little bigger, but you wash them with the cotton, they kind of shrink up. But yeah, it's safe to say you can grab yourself a large if you're an average guy like myself, and you should be just fine with that.
Don't tell Aaron Rodgers he's 5'11. Just want to say that.
Yeah, he can't see you with those glasses on, dog. So
–
But guys, thank you for being back doing a show with me. It's good to see your faces. And guys, thank you very much for watching and listening and supporting us along the way. And we'll catch up with you hopefully in the next couple weeks. You guys stay safe. Have a good one.